Now it's time to set up the backdrop. The backdrop's very, very simple. What you have are three pieces. You've got the cross piece, which of course you have to screw together, and two stands like this. So first, let's go ahead and put this cross piece together. Great, that's done. Now, let's go ahead and set these up. Now, it has, you can see here, that's your, I don't know what to call it, knob. Anyway, you got that, loosen that up so you can open this up. So you loosen this up. Do the same with the other one. Now what you want to do at the very beginning is you want to set these up so the bases match. Now that I have these set up, it's time to put the backdrop on the pole. Once you've unfolded the backdrop, you'll notice that the top has a little pouch, a little slit. And this is where the pole goes. All you need to do is insert the pole into this slip and go ahead and get it all on the pole. You'll notice when you look at the pole that they're adjustable. You can pull this out to whatever length you need. Another thing to notice about this backdrop, you'll notice that there's stitching on the back, so you can see the seam right here, but on this side you can't. This would be the front. Another thing I do is I go ahead and pull this first section up before I set the crossbar. So I'll just go ahead and pull this out, and you can feel when you pull it up, you can feel it stop. And when you feel it stop, that's where you want to go ahead and tighten it up. Also, before you put the backdrop on, the crossbar on, you want to go ahead and loosen this up as well. The top, this top one. Go ahead and loosen that up as well. Another thing to note is this knob at the end of the crossbar. Before you put it on the top, before you put the crossbar onto the stands, you'll have to unscrew this to allow it to put on top of the bar. Once you have the crossbar placed onto the stand, you want to go ahead and tighten this so when you lift up the crossbar, it will stay on the stand. Once you have the crossbar connected and the knobs tightened, now you can just, by holding the middle, put it up to the height you want. When you have it up to the height, go ahead and tighten the stand with the connectors over there, and you'll be good. Alright, we're going to begin by setting up the stand which holds the table that the computer and so forth sits on. It's very simple. It's a little shorty stand. So you just go ahead, set this up like so. Then you'll see on the bottom here, it has a speaker stand holder. So it fits like so. By the way, right here is an adjustment. This tightens it down. So you got to make sure that this is out so it fits on the stand. There you go. And then you tighten this up. Now the stand is set up. We will adjust the height of this when we kind of tweak it all when we're finishing up. So now we're ready to set everything up. As you can see, we plug the computer in. Next thing to do is set up the camera. The camera pole is right here. You can undo this set screw right here. This way this fits in there. Go ahead and set this down. Notice that this pole has an adjustment so we can bring the camera up as much as we want. Don't need to bring it up very far. Of course, here is the rotating pan head. So you just screw this into here. It's easy to do it while it's on here, and this screw is loose, so you can go ahead and screw this in like this. Okay, give it a little tweak to make it fairly tight. Okay, and that goes right there. Next, I usually leave the insert mounted on the camera to make it easy to set up. Okay, and as you'll also notice, the camera is set up not with batteries, but a power supply, and it stays. Okay, so you just unroll that. And now, the easy thing to do is set it in place like so. Okay, you'll adjust it a little later, so don't worry about that. We also have, we've also got the light. The light is easiest to do if you go ahead and screw this pole in first. As you can see, there's a little screw thing in there. Once again, you gotta unscrew this set screw. That's in place. This is the power supply for the light. That's the basic components that go on the table. And then the thing to do is to kind of straighten these up. Usually there. Then you plug everything in. As I said before, we plug everything in. We've got our power cord here. Okay. I've got a ground lift on this one, so the big one you put on the back side where there's only one. And you plug this in. This is the light. This is the camera power. So now we have all these down here. This, of course, plug into the nearest outlet. Another thing that I usually do to make things easier is I take all these cords and then I just twirl them around one of these knobs one time, and that way everything's nice and neat. The next thing to do is to plug the camera and the printer into the USB ports of the computer. The computer is going to be controlling everything. The first thing we'll do is plug in the camera. This is where the camera gets plugged in. This is a mini USB port. One end goes into the camera, one end goes into the USB port of the computer. After we're done connecting the camera into the computer, it's time to plug the printer into the computer. Now the printer is going to be a little far away on the table, so that means it needs a really long cord, just like this. This cord as well is mini USB on one end and regular USB on the other. Once we plug the USB cord into the printer and connect it into the computer, then it's time to plug the power in. And now we're ready to fire up the program and see if everything works. The program you're going to want to open first is SparkBooth DSLR. You can see the icon right here. Here you see the program is opened. You can look at the components on the screen. As you can see, the camera has automatically turned on, and what we are looking at is what the clients are going to be looking at while they enjoy the photo booth. Now let's familiarize ourselves with some of the components of the program. The settings you will find in the upper left-hand corner, the little gear. Let's go ahead and open up the settings because there are two things you want to check. The first thing is the photo layout, and the second thing is to double check your printer settings. Now let's go ahead and open up settings. When you open up the settings, this is the dialog box you see, and if you look over to the left, you see all of the choices that you have to choose from. It just so happens it opened up to the one we want, which is photo layout. Now that we're in photo layout, we would like to choose a template, which we do by going to the little paper clip down in the lower right-hand corner. And once we select the little paper clip, it takes us to our File Explorer where we can locate the template that we want. We are looking for Documents, and now we're looking for Spark Booth. Once we're in the Spark Booth folder, we're going to want to find Customer Templates, and this is the template we want. We will select our template. The template will now be pulled into the photo layout, and we're now set with the proper template for our customer. The next thing to check on are the print settings. The first thing we want to check on the print settings is that the Enable Printing box is checked and it's set at 1 copy. The next thing you want to check is that it's set on Canon Selfie, and then below that, below the Setup and Test boxes, there are 3 dialog boxes, and all 3 of those need to be checked as well. And now that we've made sure that the settings are correct, we can close the dialog box and go back to the main screen to get ready for the customers. The next thing we want to go over is how to make extra prints for the customers. Really quite simple. You go to the gallery, which you'll find in the upper right-hand corner of the customer display. Once you choose that, you'll be taken to where you can see all the photos that have been taken thus far that evening. Take notice of the green buttons on either side of the screen. Those buttons allow you to navigate forward and backward through the gallery of photos so you can find the one you want. When you do, choose it and it comes up here. The next thing to do is go to the upper left-hand portion of the screen, choose Print. In the upper right-hand corner is where you choose the number of prints. Choose OK. This will bring you to the next screen. Hit the X. Hit the X again on the next screen, which will bring you back to your home screen, and you are once again ready for the customers. Now that we've got everything pretty much set up, it's time to tidy up. So the first thing is to go ahead and put these little things. These are the little units that hold the skirt, and you put 4 of them. You put 8 of them actually, 2 per side. So easiest way to do that is, see this lip? You catch the lip on the top, push down, goes right on. So we'll go ahead and do that all the way around. Now you can see that these have been installed. Notice the spacing. And now it's time to add the skirt. So now it's time to put this skirt on the pedestal. This is the skirt, and of course it's got Velcro on it, and so it sticks. So we start this one right here. We go ahead and start halfway in, because as you come around, then it's going to just work right. Anyway, so start here. Now what I always do is I hold the last one that I stick it to. Hold. Keep coming around. Now this, as you can see, I don't want to bend it, so I'm going to bring this back here with a little loop like that, and now that'll be good. Okay, keep going all the way around. Giving some support to where you've been, and that way when it goes all the way around, it's nice and tight. This is what I was talking about. You start here, about halfway through, and then when you come around, this has a little bit to stick to. And then we take a little clip like this and go ahead and fix it. Now that we've put this here, then we take this clip and clip those two ends together, and then you fold these down. That'll be just fine. Now that you've got the skirt on, it's time to adjust the height. So you want that skirt to fall, to be just right touching the floor, okay? So right now it's a little too low. It needs to come up just a little bit, and that of course is done with the adjustment on the speaker stand. Here's the adjustment knob that you're going to loosen up. You're going to loosen up that adjustment knob, and then you're going to raise it up just enough to get the length right. And now it's time to adjust this, so just loosen this knob up and push it up until it's the right height. And that's all there is to it. Tighten it back up. And now it's the proper height and it looks all nice and neat. Another interesting note, the two front legs of the tripod, make sure they're in front with the single one going out the back. Also notice that when you have those power supplies down there, once you go ahead and cover it, nobody can see them. This is the controller for the light. The light is on channel 1. And to turn the light on, all you have to do is hit the channel 1 bar, and you can turn it on and off. Turn it off, on, off. You can also go ahead and make it brighter or darker. While the photo booth is in use, this control right here, we usually keep it right behind the computer like that. That way it's there for you when you need it. This is the bag for photo booth number 2. And the place to keep this is on this pouch right here. So the pouch on the right, that's where to keep that control. That way we'll never lose it. Now that it's time to close down the program, what you need to do is partially minimize the program, and this is accomplished by pressing the Escape key on the computer. Once this is accomplished, this will allow you to utilize the red X in the upper right-hand corner of the window to close the program. Once we've closed SparkBooth, it's time to shut the computer down, which can be done by going to the lower left-hand corner, brings up the second screen, and then up into the upper right-hand corner, the little doodad that looks sort of like a clock or something. Touch that, the menu appears, shut down, and the computer closes.